My name's Sarah Keegan. I'm from the CS Partnership. Welcome to the CS Partnership's Coffee Talk. In Coffee Talk, we want you to grab a coffee, not a prop. It's actually got a cup of coffee in it, as normal for me. We want to give you helpful information and let you cut through the noise that is around you. That is the point. So here's some things I think you should know. First of all, on the 6th of April, the Dissolution and Separation Act comes into effect. It's the biggest change for our matrimonial lawyers, matrimonial friends, but also matrimonial lawyers is what I meant. For 50 years, it brings in no blame divorces. And we are really interested to see how that pans out. Do you think getting divorced will be easier? Calmer? Anyway, let's find out. Let's wait and see. Second thing I think you should know, the CQS, the Conveyancing Quality Scheme for our residential property clients, is updating itself on the 1st of May. The Court Practice Management Standards update is actually happening on the 1st of May. Keep following us with regards to that. I know we're going to be doing webinars in May, and I know that I have to update some workflows and policies, and I haven't done that yet. That's April's job, so happy days for me. And let's move on now to the biggest changes, of course, and what's happening in the world around us with regards to Ukraine and Russia. If it's all right with you, I'm not going to talk about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We know how we feel about that. And this is very much about the legal aspects of our lives. So let's talk about the sanctions, and let's talk about the Economic Crime Transparency and Enforcement Act, which came into effect on the 15th of March, which is not to say that we don't all have enormous hearts and all of the rest of it, but let's just talk about the law for now. First of all, I'm going to link below a really good article by a business friend of ours called Kate Burt, who is the founder of Hive Risk. It's a fabulous article. It links to the Law Society's practice note from mid-March. It links to the Treasury's alert service, very useful. It links to the Legal Sector Affinity Group guidance. It has the law behind the sanctions and what the regulators are all saying. So it's just an all-round good egg of an article, really. And I'm also going to link below to Neil Rose's article from Legal Futures about the SRA doing spot checks on how firms are coping with the changes around us all of the time, and also about the proposals that the government's got with regards to clamping down on SLAPP. If ever there was something so beautifully named as SLAPP, it is the SLAPP, for those who don't know, is Strategic Litigation Against Public Participation. So basically, with the changes proposed in that regard, with the online bullying being clamped down, with the sanctions coming out, with the new Economic Crime Act coming out, which means that we'll be able to see who owns property in the UK in different entities, I think there's a feeling very much about moving towards justice and fairness and away from bullying and that bad money and money laundering. And here's my point, that I've always got a point, even if I do ramble on my way towards it. But there's £100 billion a year being laundered through the UK, which is a staggering amount of money. And I thought, how do I get that across that it's so easy to say a billion. First of all, let me pause to say, just to have my co-founder's eyes rolling to the back of the head at me. It's an American million, not a British. It's an American billion, not a British billion. An American billion is 1,000 million, which is still a lot of money. But in the old days, a British billion was a million. Anyway, apparently Dennis Healy changed that in the 70s. Who knew that? Because I was still taught it. Anyway, if you look at the Pandora Papers or the Panama Papers or whatever, you'll see that behind every baddie, for want of a better word, behind all money laundering activity, there are law firms empowering and assisting these people to do whatever it is that they want to do, whether it's buy property or set up trust funds or whatever it is. And it's atrocious and it has to stop. And if you think about it, well, Sarah, I don't deal with Russians. I'm not acting for an oligarch, all of that stuff. The thing is, 100 billion, which is why I referred to it earlier, 100 billion, if you divide it by the average house price, according to the Nationwide in February, which is about £230,000, is only 3,862 transactions a year of an average house price. Now, obviously, there's going to be many different amounts involved in that 100 billion. But think about it. If there are 4,000-ish law firms doing conveyancing and 4,000-ish houses a year, possibly in my figures, I'm not a mathematician in my family, but that means that every single one of the firms that we work with and the firms that I'm talking to could be affected by people laundering money. And people laundering money hurt the planet and they hurt the people a lot, as we can see. So that's why it's important. Moving to a practical perspective now, with regards to your anti-money laundering and identity verification tech, check you're receiving what you think you're paying for, because we have horror stories in this regard. Check your anything that you're using that is searching against your PEPs has fuzzy logic. So you could put in a misspelling or an incorrect, you could put in a Tony instead of an Anthony or whatever, and you would still pull up the search results that you need to be looking at. And check that your AML and IDV have ongoing monitoring checks available and that they are telling you about them. And somebody very sensible said to me recently, just check it, to put the people in that you want to check and see if it's coming back with the results that you think. And I say that because it is not so great. It's not so great in the search results at the moment. Let's move on to some really happy news. For the first time in 4 centuries, beavers have moved back to the Thames. So cute. There's a male and a female beaver introduced into Enfield, and they've been named, which is why I think it's even more cute. Their names are Justin Beaver and Sigourney Beaver. There's some good things happening in the world. One last thing I'm going to tell you before I go. According to the World Happiness Report, which is just also going to be linked to this video, humanity got kinder in 2021, despite everything that you might be thinking at the moment. The report finds a pandemic of easy for you to say, a pandemic of benevolence with increases in donations, volunteering, and helping strangers in every global region. That's it for me. I'm going to keep this as short as I can. Hopefully you've had a coffee. Hopefully you've laughed at the beavers coming back into the Thames. And any questions or comments, please get in touch with us and follow us on all social media. Thanks. Bye.